An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Benjamin Franklin. Hello and welcome to the Durham Talents channel. My name is Jesse Durham. For today's installment of our quote series, we're going to evaluate a quote from Benjamin Franklin when he said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." So, interesting note on Benjamin Franklin. He was a prolific reader, and his formal education actually ended at age 10. So it was he himself who continued to read, continued to learn how to write well. And I enjoy that so much. If you don't know, my wife and I, we homeschool our children, and which is interesting because we both went through public education, and I was a public high school Spanish teacher for some years. So I've been on both sides. I've been both the student and the teacher, literally. And we've decided to homeschool our children for lots of reasons. That'd be an interesting conversation, but I'm not trying to sidetrack us from Benjamin Franklin taking the personal responsibility himself to self-educate, to improve his writing, to improve his reading, to improve his knowledge. Again, the quote was, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." Now, when I heard this quote and considered it for an episode, I thought of what a friend had told me several years ago, and he said, "Jesse, don't give a book away." He said, "It's nice, it's considerate," and I love books. If you can't tell, of course, they're everywhere around me. I've always enjoyed reading. I think that's only grown. But he said, don't give somebody a book when it's one that you're wanting them to read. He said, because there's just something about, you could give it to him, it's a beautiful sentiment, but he said there's something about that same person that if they went to a thrift store and paid $1 for a book, they're just going to be more likely to read it because they've got some skin in the game. They took the time out, they paid some money to go and get a book themselves. Now, the one you could be showing them could be the best one in the world. My opinion, that's going to be a gospel one. The next one would be Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. But he would say, don't give them the book because they're just so much more likely to read one that they've actually bought. They got to have some skin in the game. So that's the experience that I thought about. And then since then, of course, I've heard people say that, if someone won't buy a book, meaning Nash's book, that they won't buy a policy. If they're not willing to pay into their financial education to learn about this idea, they're certainly not going to pay into owning a privatized banking system. So the idea that Benjamin Franklin is saying, where he's starting with knowledge, and knowledge is where Nash starts in his book. Before he ever gets to policy illustrations and whatnot, he's educating us on banking, on whole life insurance, on so many different things. And that was his philosophy, and it's the one that I've adopted, that when you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. So making an investment in knowledge, Benjamin Franklin said, pays the best interest. And of course, it's easy to talk about, interest as one of the variables that we talk about, because I'm here to promote the idea that you can become your own banker. Nash would tell us that the average American is bleeding out interest dollars to the tune of about a third of every dollar that we're earning is just being paid right out in interest. And that's money that forever leaves us. So the dividends, the yield, the interest that could be gained from us not abdicating the banking function to someone else, but maintaining that, it's incredible to consider. But furthermore, starting with knowledge, there's no telling. And I've had different conversations. I've read different books, watched different pieces of information over my lifetime, and been inspired and had some real aha moments, some real habit-changing, life-changing moments in different areas of my own life. And when I reflect, that's certainly the case. There was something perhaps that inspired me, but it was I who decided to start implementing, whether that's better nutrition or physical training or something to branch out in as an entrepreneur, personal growth and development, what have you. The knowledge has certainly yielded some very big interest rates, some very big yields, some very big dividends in my life in those different areas. But in particular, Nash would say that the infinite banking concept is an exercise. And it's an exercise in things like knowledge, meaning he would use the word reason, and he would also use the word logic. But I think that really closely connects to knowledge, being logical about this mental exercise of considering becoming your own banker, being reasonable about it. Well, the more information we have, the more knowledge that we have, and that's what Nelson does in his book, of course, is he's educating us on these different things. We can use that to logically, reasonably, and with imagination and considering prophecy, implement this idea of becoming our own banker. So I thought this was a terribly interesting quote. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section if you have a quote that you'd like us to cover here on the channel. And if you'd like to have a conversation about how to implement, how we can help speed up your learning curve, give you the knowledge that you need to make the decision that's going to be best for you to implement infinite banking into your household or your business or your investing, then you can book us for a free consultation. You can email durhamtalents@gmail.com. You can text or call 828-817-4223. And this has been a great conversation for me. I look forward to our next one. Hope you have a great day. Take care. So, interesting note on Benjamin Franklin. Education actually ended. So, that's all, folks. Oh yeah, we're done. We're so done. Yep. Let's just wrap this one up.